All right, well, let's talk about your leadership now. Again, I want to play what Barnaby Joyce said this morning. He said that he will not put his hand up for a leadership position. Have a look.
I'm not going for it. I'm just get that one sorted. If the party decides to change and no one's rung me up for numbers or inquiring, if the party decides to change, it changes. It's how it works.
All right, so Barnaby Joyce is ruling himself out. How confident are you, David Littleproud, that you will remain leader of the party?
Well, I'm pretty relaxed. If you look at what I just did, we didn't flip-flop. We stared the Liberal Party down and we didn't blink. We made it very clear that if they wanted to re-sign the coalition with us, there were 4 policy principles we couldn't just let slide by. We needed a guarantee, a very strong guarantee. And I didn't have that, so we walked away. And it wasn't until Thursday morning I got a text from Susan Lee to say, can you come around to my office? I want to litigate where we are. And she made it very clear to me that she'd have a party room meeting to try and give me the certainty, the National Party, the certainty that they asked for. In fact, what I've done is delivered. We've got those 4 assurances, and that now means that the coalition talks can continue, and I've had constructive talks today with Susan Lee. We want to be in a coalition, but I'm not going to walk away from the values and principles of the people who sent me to Canberra. And that's not just about energy grid, that's also about making sure that we have childcare places in regional areas, doctors in regional places, telecommunications that keep people safe in times of emergency. So I'll stand by what I've done. I'll stand by my record. I've made the tough decisions as leader of the Nationals. I was the first one to lead a political party to say they wouldn't support the Voice. I stood up on divestiture, stood up to back nuclear. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'll put it in front of anybody, and I've just delivered those policy areas to the National Party in a coalition agreement. I'll put my record up, and if it's not good enough, I can live with it.
No, I completely understand what you're saying. I guess, the way that it has played out over the last week, it's been a very public spat. He said, she said. I mean, it really is like it was a 2-day divorce. But, I've got to ask, what was the point of a 2-day divorce?
Well, if you get the policies that we want, we stared them down, we didn't blink, and we got them. I'll tell you what that's worth. That's worth a lot to people in regional Australia. So we don't have an all renewables approach to our energy grid. We actually can make sure that the mobile phone towers that you, the Australian taxpayer, paid for actually work in the hour of need. It's about those childcare places, about filling in some potholes for the councils out there, and training our own to be doctors and nurses. That's what it's about. Right. I'd rather come to Canberra and live with some values and principles and look people in the eye that I return to and represent and say, you know what? Not just because of political expedience, I traded it away. I stood by it. I had the values and principles that you asked me to make sure no matter what. And there were people in my party room that were going to lose pay, lose position. They were prepared to do it. They were going to lose their jobs, some of them, on joint Senate tickets. So I just say, just look at the National Party, look what we've done, what we're prepared to do.
No, I totally get it.
We can stand tall.
I get what you're saying, but so are you saying then that you've kissed and made up, this is it? Because I know that the Liberals have agreed in principle, but what exactly does in principle mean? That doesn't sound like it's a 100% done deal.
Yeah, well, that's something, and I'll take to the party room. And Susan and I've got those form of words that gives us comfort around that being the policy that we took to the last election, which is the wording we sent. And my party room will determine that because they're the ones that determined to walk away. And I get there's a couple that said, they didn't agree and they've made disparaging comments. But this wasn't my decision. It was the decision of the vast majority of the party room. So we just need to be respectful of our party room. Our party room makes this determination, not me, but the majority. The vast majority made this decision. They had the values to stand up and say, no, we're not walking away from this. So what I'll do is finalise the rest of the negotiations with Susan Lee. That'll be presented to the party room, and the party room will make their determination whether they wish to re-enter the coalition or not in the ensuing days.
All right, well, we'll be standing by for that one. Before we let you go, David, I just want to ask you about the flooding crisis, obviously. The Prime Minister and a number of his ministers out today already blaming it on climate change. Is that appropriate?
No, it's not. The immediacy is about saving lives and about making sure that we set ourselves up for the recovery. I was in Kempsey and Maxwell on Friday, and I'm hoping, I was going to Taree tomorrow, but I think the Prime Minister's going there, so my trip's been delayed. But what people want on the ground is action. They don't want politics. They actually just want people to look after people. And the people who can lead and should be focused on that, not on political points, but just getting on with the job. And I just say to all levels of government, this should just be about the immediacy of helping these people in their hour of need to make sure they get what they need in this great country of ours.
Absolutely spot on. David Littleproud, it's been nice to catch up. Thank you very much for joining me on the show this evening. Really appreciate it.